Great morning again. Seems like Wendell wants to go live, so I'm back on it. He wants to have a chat this morning, so I'm coming back on live. I'm waiting for Wendell to jump on with me. So all of you that missed my little morning live this morning, I'll give you just a reminder, since I keep getting muted, because even this morning's live that didn't have any swearing or anything to it, there's too much truth to it. So Facebook is muting me. Um, So anyway, I remind you guys, any limitations, get creative. Any obstacles, grow out of it, push past it, evolve. Okay, it's an opportunity to grow. Hey, Wendell, I'm on live. Okay, he's coming on. Hey, great morning to you.
Good morning to you. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good, good.
Except for I'll let you know that I'm being muted. And
Muted.
I'm being threatened that my account will be shut down and closed.
What are
There's
you
too
doing,
much
Toby?
nothing. There's too much truth to our lives that people, yeah,
Wow, eh?
there are certain people that don't want people to hear what we're saying. Simple as that.
That's
And,
crazy.
well, this morning's live, that was only like 15 minutes that I did this morning, was muted. And I
Oh,
didn't swear and I didn't play any music. There's nothing. No, it's what I'm saying. There's too much truth to it and people don't like it.
you mean like partially through? Because I heard you at the beginning of it. Unless maybe you came to a topic that and then was muted after that.
What? No,
Your
it
video
was
before.
my video from this morning. I
Yeah.
just came off of it. As I'm coming back now to go live with you, I see it right now that my video was partially muted. That's it. And yesterday
Wow.
the video was muted and I had to contest it. And their response to me was, if they mute me one more time, they are shutting me down. And
Wow.
now they mute me again this morning. So I'm going to contest it again this morning. But I just want to let you know that there's a
Good.
possibility that, yeah, I guess somebody's trying to shut this down because there's too much truth to it.
Yeah. Hmm.
You see? So, and I guess people now, the accumulation of my videos, it's not just me coming out here doing a couple of lives, the accumulative factor of it,
Mm-hmm.
there's too much truth to the content that we've put out and that I've put out. And it's not like, yes, people receive it well, but not the higher who are in control of all of this don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Wow.
Because we're teaching people how to take their power back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to forewarn you in case anything does happen that my
Right.
account goes dormant or anything. It's because
Okay.
my account was purposely shut by Facebook because of the truth I'm telling. So that's kind of but that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You know what that tells me? That tells me that we're
You're
on the
doing the
right
right thing.
track, Wendell.
Right. You're doing the right thing. That's all
That's
that matters.
right.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be a lot of conflict coming at me for the things that I say, but that's okay because I stand up strong in it.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. That's
I do.
crazy.
So how are
Wow.
you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday, you know. Time for the weekend. Get to freaking relax again a bit, you know. The training is going really well. I'm starting to get into the flow of it. You know, I feel the repetition now and it's like, yesterday we were doing a lot of confined space stuff and the thing with this training is that there's a lot of information and I get it. There's too much information, I think. So the students get overwhelmed, right? So yesterday they were like, I found that they were a little bit antsy and stuff. And I said, okay, guys, I said, let's just have a talk right here, off the record. What's going on? Is everybody getting this? Is everybody like, is there some things that you're not understanding? Is it because I'm not a good trainer? Like, what is it? So one of the guys was like, there's these two guys who are like from Ukraine. They're new to Canada and everything. So, what did she say?
Morning, Wendell. You're late.
Oh. Excuse us there,
Good.
Patricia. Patricia
Good.
got me on a clock now, eh?
Well, yeah, because I
It's
came
like
off the
time.
live because I didn't see you. So that's what she's coming at you for.
Okay, well, excuse me there, Patricia, but I need my coffee in the morning, okay? And if my coffee is not brewing, then I ain't getting up. That's how it works. But thanks for joining and thanks for making that noon. But yeah. So so what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, so they weren't understanding what was going on in the training. So I stopped the class. I said, okay, guys, I said, I'm here to help you. What is it that you're struggling with? You know? So they were like, oh, well, I found that there's too much information and, we're going to do the exam. And I said, hey, listen, this is the Ninja Turtle. Oh my God. So I'm like, so I said, guys, I said, all of this information is just for you to get an understanding of what the job is. We're not asking you to memorize all of this and then you're going to go to work tomorrow and be a champ. That's not how it works. This is just to give you an overview of what the job is about so that you could decide whether you could do the job or not. If you decide that you could do the job, now when you go out on the field, we're not going to throw you somewhere by yourself. You're going to be coached. There's going to be somebody who's going to and then everybody was like, oh, like a big chorus of ohs. I'm like, why did you guys think that we were just gonna throw you out there? So I guess they felt a little bit better and a little bit. And then I told them, I said, okay, so today we're gonna do the exam, all the books on the floor. And then they're like, oh my God. So they started freaking out. And I said, guys, so you got this. You were paying attention to what I was teaching. You were taking your homework home. You were reviewing. If you did all of that, you're gonna breeze through this exam. If you're lazy and you didn't do anything and you can't absorb everything, then I'm sorry, this is not the job for you, and you deserve to fail. You know. So they did their test, and then I went outside because I had to go do something. And then we came back in and we did a little scenario, like kind of a on the job scenario, so they know like what the job is like. And then they were all going back into the class, and these two guys, the two guys from Ukraine, they're like, they stopped and they looked at me and they're like, I get it now. And I'm like, okay, are you sure you get it now? They're like, no, no, no. Like you were right. Like, we were freaking out. And, now that I see it, it makes a lot more sense to me. And I'm like, good. I said, that's the whole purpose why we do the training like this. So then they were kind of like, oh well, it's hot. Can we leave early? And I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I said, let me go and talk to Dave and see what's what's going on, and then I'll come back. So I go to Dave, and then Dave was kind of like, it was like he was trying to find something. He's just like, so did you tell him this? Did you tell him that? Why did you tell him this? How come he didn't show this video? And I'm just like, I was following the script exactly how you did it. I finished a little bit earlier. I thought that was gonna be a good thing. And he's like, well, technically speaking, you shouldn't have finished at this time. So I said, okay. I said, so what determines if I should finish or not? What if I felt that the class knew what they had to do and I kind of skipped through some stuff because there was a lot of stuff in that class that were kind of not irrelevant but just not important at the moment. And he's like, yeah, he goes, you're right. There is a lot of stuff in there that I really need to take out, and I'm like, so I'm waiting to hear him acknowledge that he made an exaggeration to the scenario, right? And he didn't say it. So then at the end, he's like, "So how do you think you did?" I said, "Honestly," I said, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. I feel like the students are getting it more, and I'm less stressed out than I was the first time. So I think I'm doing a better job." And he's like, "Okay." He goes, "I'm gonna audit you tomorrow, but like I'm just gonna tell you straight from my opinion." He goes, "You're doing a lot better than you did before." He goes, "There's still some things you have to work on." I said, "Well, yeah, of course. This is only my second class." So then he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "So just keep doing what you're doing." He goes, "Just keep an eye on the time, and don't let the students control the class. You're the teacher, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I get it now." So overall, it's good. It's good. Honestly, I prefer to be out in the field right now because, like I said, the salary comparison, it's like, it's a little bit different, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, what about that opportunity that you got a call on for in August you were talking about?
Yeah, so I again I spoke to David and I was like, yeah, so they called me about this opportunity in August, you know. I said, how many more classes are we doing here? He goes, you're staying with me till September. And I was just like, what? You know? So he's like, yeah, he goes, we have like about 3 or 4 more classes. We have to hire like 600 safety watch. So I was like, wow. I said, okay. But then he was like, he goes, but don't worry about it. He goes, when you finish early, he goes, I'm gonna pay you till 5. So like he goes, I'm very generous like that. I'm not like a stickler. You come in, you do your job, you show up early, you prepare yourself, and you go and you do your job properly, I'll pay you. Like don't worry about it. So I said, okay.
Nice.
So yeah. So
So there you go. So you get some, maybe that's the benefit of it all is you don't have to, there's less effort involved. Maybe there's a lesser pay, but there's less effort involved.
yeah. But I kind of took it as, you know, because again, like there was a very big lag in between jobs. So I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to refresh myself, you know, to keep me like, you know, so that when I go out there, I'm just gonna be like, right?
Oh,
So
for sure.
it's a win-win situation, basically. Like, yeah, I'm not really worried too much about the salary because again, you know, it's like life happens, right? I have no control over that. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, other than that, everything else is pretty good. Everything's good.
good. Okay, we got to get this Ninja Turtle off of this screen because that's all I see in front of you.
Cowabunga! I was gonna punch it right now. It's like cowabunga.
Well, somebody else has to put a comment there or something because I'm on my phone, so I don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
Because do you know that person?
who is? Oh yeah, because
Ah,
he's
there
on
we
your
go. Hey,
he's
Sylvie.
on
Top of the
he's on your
morning
friend
to
list.
you. Hey, great morning, Sylvie.
Top of the morning, Sylvie.
Hey, look at that. Then it's right there, only under your nose. We need Sylvie. Write something else. Just write something so we can boost that Ninja Turtle above his neck.
There we go.
'Cause it just-
I just hid the comments.
That's funny.
He's a funny guy though. It's like he sometimes he I don't know, like he's a cool guy and everything. I mean, we were talking because he's a hockey fan, right? From
Okay.
Montreal and everything. And we kind of connected on Facebook through a Montreal Canadiens thing, and then we just kept like talking, you know. And then when we were watching the games, sometimes we were watching the games together, like not together, but at the same time. And one time he said, uh, next time you're in Montreal, let's hang out, you know. So I said, okay. So I went to Montreal. I think it was just last summer, and I seen him on Facebook. So I was like, hey, I'm going to
Thank you,
Montreal, you know.
Sylvie.
I'm going to Montreal, you know, if you want to meet sometime, you know. And he's like, yeah. Let me know when you come in, da da da. So I let him know that I came in. We went to Tim Hortons. We had this long freaking conversation, and it was nice. But he likes to, I don't know how to explain it, but he just likes to post some weird stuff sometimes. It's funny, but sometimes it gets annoying, you know. So me and him, we had this little talk about that after. But that's why he's kind of like now he's putting Ninja Turtles and stuff. But
Yeah, but it was funny how he did it
yeah.
because then for like a good couple of minutes in the video, there's Ninja Turtles in front of you. Like he did that. Like he
He
got you
photobombed
good.
me. He photobombed me with Donatello. Or was it Michelangelo? I think it was No, Donatello
Oh, I
probably
think that's funny.
Michelangelo.
Yeah, well, don't
Leonardo.
encourage him to do it again.
No. Jeez.
So you got any plans this
Oof.
weekend, Wendell?
Um, Not really. I just figured I was gonna chill. Like it's supposed to be 31 degrees both days on Saturday and Sunday. Um, One of my friends there, he had a situation where somebody broke into his garage or something, so he's gonna wanna chill out and chit chat about that. You know, more likely vent, I should say. Vent is a better word because he doesn't really chit chat much. All he does is vent. But yeah. Other than that, just I'm just gonna go over my stuff again for Sunday. Try to put together my own little format. Because again, every time when I do, of course, I start taking little things from it, you know, and then I'm trying to incorporate my own little design kind of thing, so that this way I make sure everything is covered, you know. So, because excuse me, it was funny because this one, Dave comes to me and he goes, where are we at? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, didn't we like forget to do some stuff? And I started freaking out. I'm like, I don't think so. I said, but let me check. So I started going through all the exam books, and he's like, yeah, I don't think we did hearing protection. I'm like, okay. So I went through the exam book, and then I seen the hearing protection was done. So I'm like, no, I think we did that. He goes, oh, he goes, so we're on schedule then. I'm like, yeah, of course we're on schedule, Dave. Like, what? Are you trying to imply that I'm not doing my job or something? But anyway, so but he was cool though. Like we did this scenario, and he pretended that he was stuck in a confined space and everything. Everybody was laughing. It was fun. Like everybody enjoyed it, so it was good. It was good. But
I
yeah,
hate
this weekend
confined spaces.
you hate confined spaces.
Oh, I hate small spaces. Those what do you call them? The CT scan machines there and all those little tubes
Oh,
there. Oh God. Oh no, no, no,
so you're
no.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, fear, panic comes in right away.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
just because of my past
Yeah.
traumas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That
all
makes
it
that
is.
that's understandable.
But it's like I've been trying to get to that place to correct that within me, but hey, that's really deeply embedded in me, just like my fear of heights, and there's reasons for it. So, it wasn't just a fear that came out, there's trauma that induced those fears. So, but
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm okay. But confined spaces are just not my thing at all.
I hear you. Oh no. And it's funny because
Proud of you, Wendell. You've
who
come a
said that?
long way.
Who said I
Ah,
talk
now
too
I can see the comments.
much?
Hey, great morning, Jennifer. That must be one of your friends, eh?
Oh yeah. Jennifer Pilo, that's one of my longtime friends. We've known each other for like almost 30 years, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
it's funny though because most of the friends that I've had them for a very long time, There's
Yeah,
only a
me too.
couple acquaintances that I have here and there that I've just recently known or known in the last 2, 3 years, but for the most part, like, it's like Sylvie, we've been talking for like almost 4 years, 3 years now, and it's like I feel like I've known her forever. But we think that we may have crossed paths with each other like back in the day, like because Montreal is like that, right? There's so many people that I talk to that are kind of like that too. They're like, I get a friend request and I'm like, do I know you? I always ask like right off the hop. I'm like, yeah, I saw a friend request here. Do I know you? Do we know each other? And they're like, oh yeah, you used to do this back in the day. You used to live next to this park, and I'm like, oh okay, I know who you are now. And then I add them. If they're like, oh well, I don't know, I just like your posts, and you seem like a positive person. I'm like, red flag. Delete, right?
Red flag. Oh,
Red
look at
flag.
that. I read, you see, it was an exclamation mark, and I thought it was an L. I'm proud of you, Wendy. Ooh.
Yeah, Jenny always calls me she calls me Wendy. Sometimes she calls me Wendy Pooh. We're like brother and sister, Jen.
Oh,
I've known
that's
Jen
cool.
so long,
That's cool.
and
Hey,
it's funny
so,
because like there was a time where I was stranded and I needed a place to live and stuff, and she was living with somebody at the time, and she was like, "Yeah, you could come and stay. I'll talk to my roommate," kind of thing, and it was so awkward because here's my best friend with another female, and I'm like, the odd guy because I didn't really know her roommate, and like it's kind of like you had to respect two different dynamics of women, and yeah, it was just crazy. But thank God for her, you know what I mean? Like Jen's been there for me for most of the stuff that I've been through, and that's why me and her are like brother and sister. I went down a couple times to Montreal. The first time I went down, we hung out, we caught up. Last time I went, I wasn't able to catch up with her. We were like, she's a mother now, so you know a lot of things change, when people
of course,
when
we
you
grow up.
we grow up, life happens, you know, and
Three's Company.
he's
Oh,
Jack
I
Tripper,
totally understand
Jack
that one
Tripper.
now.
Oh, that was a good one, Jen. That was a good one. Jack Tripper. Oh my gosh. God rest his soul. But anyway, so yeah, so it's like, when you're used to like living with people all the time too, sometimes when you're by yourself, it's kind of like you see life a little bit differently because now you're like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about someone else in the shower or, when you go to make something in the kitchen, like, oh, someone's there kind of thing, So it's I don't know. It's like for me personally, like I've been living with people for a while, like for the last what, I don't know. Well, for the last while, I've been always sharing apartments just for money reasons, obviously, right? Like, and then there's some people that are just special. There's one time, actually last year, I was renting out a room in a house, and there was five other people in the house.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it
hard.
was. Oh man, two
That's
African
hard.
guys, an Indian guy, an old white guy, and then an African woman upstairs. I was like, oh my God. You come into the kitchen, you want to cook, and everybody's like, they're cooking
But there must have
fish.
been enough jokes.
Oh man, it was hell. I told the guy, I was like, the landlord came one day and he just pops by, because it's his house, so he just pops by and he's like, "So how's it going?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, I need to get out of this lease, man. I can't do this." And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "Listen, I can't do this, man. Like, I have luckily I had my own bathroom. Otherwise, I would have been done the first week. But I had my own bathroom, and I come upstairs and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a coffee. I come upstairs, I read in the kitchen. I'm just like, oh, so I'll come back later. You go back down, come back up again. Two guys are there. Go back down. 10 o'clock at night, I have to get up to go to work the next day. Finally, the kitchen's free, and I'm like, great. Now I gotta cook, eat, and sleep in like a matter of 30 minutes. It's like, oh, never again, never again, never again. But anyway, sometimes you gotta do for self, man. You gotta do for self.
Oh, you always got to do for self. So you're enjoying your space though now alone though, eh?
Oh man. I mean, I am, but there's still that, when the
The
landlord teaches,
longing for different?
what was that?
Is it a longing for different? Like you're longing for something else in your life even though you're alone, or what is it that's
No, 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 no. I mean, I'm pretty happy with being alone, It's
okay.
just a matter of, it's just like this specific scenario. Like,
Yeah.
first off, you know, I'm paying a little bit more than what I've
Yeah.
expected. I have two extra rooms that I can't rent, for whatever reason, but whatever, you know. And it's kind of like it's not setting me back. Like, I mean, I have to adjust, right? Because that's what we do. We just adjust with the situation. So, there are certain things that are getting a little bit taken away from because I have to take that extra money to pay this extra rent because I was
Yeah, for
expecting to
sure.
paying 700. Now I'm paying 850. Everything's included and everything, but still, it's just out of what I originally budgeted for. So that extra $150 is
Matters.
getting taken from either my insurance or my car payment or whatever, right? So I'm always short somewhere, and that's the part that drains me the most. Is like I hate being short. I can't stand it. I'm tired of it. It's like for years and years and years, it's just been the story of my life, which is why I came out here in the first place because Montreal wasn't cutting it for me. Like, it just wasn't cutting for me, like financially, for my mental state. I knew too many people. Sometimes having a lot of friends is a good thing, but sometimes it's also freaking hell. I'm telling you,
Oh, for
it's
sure.
hell. Like,
For
when you
sure.
have like people constantly at you, and wanting you to go here and go there and go everywhere, and it's like, buddy, I like to just chill out by myself and just relax. And it's to the point where they're showing up at my door, knocking on my door, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm relaxing. I told you, like, I'm just chilling. Get out of your house, man. Come, let's go. Let's go have a drink or two." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that wants to go and get drunk on a Tuesday night. I gotta work tomorrow." But there was too many of those, man. There was way too many of those, and I had to just. It was just getting too much, and I said, you know what? And then it was just kind of a convenience of situation because my daughter had moved out here at the time, and she kept crying, and she was like, at the time, she was like, she was young. She was like maybe I don't know, like 8, 9 years old, or maybe a little bit older than that. Sorry, she was like maybe 10 or 12, and she kept crying, and she was like, I miss you, and da, 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 and I'm just like, oh. Like it got to the point where I started getting emotional and I started thinking about it. And I'm like, and her mom was very helpful. She said, I see you struggling. If you really want to change your atmosphere, I'll help you get out here, and then we'll figure out a way for you to maintain by yourself. So I was like, hmm. I'm like, yeah, so I'll have to think about it. Let me think about it, you know. And then I thought about it, and then I just started seeing like, people just kept coming at me again, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe it's a time for me to get to start over and on a new leaf and just like wipe all this stuff out. Yes, it's nice to have friends, but I believe that if you have too many friends, it can be a little bit, you know, not to say that we're supposed to have a specific amount of friends, but sometimes when you have too many friends, like too many people know your stuff,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm not a private person. There's certain things that I don't share with everybody, but I'm not a private person. But when I'm going out and people are saying like, "Oh yeah, are you okay? I heard you did this, or I heard this is going on. I heard," and I'm just like, "But did I tell you?" You know, it gets a little draining, So I'm just like, you know what? I just need to disappear from the world for a little bit, get off the grid. So I thought Calgary would be the best place because there was that opportunity of the oil and gas and whatever, right? Which is why I got into that field, which I'm actually kind of blessed because, I'm so used to when I went into Ontario, I was on social assistance for almost a year because it took me forever to get situated, to get a job, to get, you know what I mean? But I made it work because sometimes like I was saying, you have to adjust, right?
Yep.
We all have that spice of life where, of course we want to live in a nice place. Of course we want to drive a nice car. Of course we want to have a great job. Of course we want to look good. But in reality, we can't just be doing that, right? You know? So there's a difference between
There's
a
a
friend
difference
and
between a friend and an
absolutely.
acquaintance.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah. And Jen knows that. Me and Jen, we talk about this all the time. It's like, you know, I don't mind having acquaintances. I really don't. But when it gets to the point where they're trying to change my life for me, that's where I have to step in and I'd be like, okay, you know what? I take it that you care. That's nice. But you don't tell me how I live my life. You don't. I make the decision of who, right? I built this life for me. You didn't build a life for me. You helped me in certain things, and that's another thing too. Some people help you out of a situation and then they feel like you owe them that, okay, now you have to listen to everything that I said because
Yeah.
I told you to get out of that situation and it worked. So I'm your God now. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way, especially not with me. And I don't always take people's opinions or their thoughts about things. I just take the thought of the actual thing that they're mentioning, right? So they'll say, "Oh, Wendell, I think you should do this," and I'm like, okay, should I be doing that? No, I don't think I should be doing that.
And
But
that's
thanks
great.
though. Yeah,
That's
but
great.
thanks though. You know, there's
That's
some
great.
people out there that are like, oh, okay, they get all scared and like, oh, okay, and then just do whatever the other person says, and then
Can't do that
they
though.
blame themselves. They blame
Yeah.
themselves after. Oh, I failed. No, you didn't fail.
And
You
resent the
just
other person.
some don't though. Some don't realize it that they just think that's them being a friend. So
Okay.
they just keep doing it, doing it, doing it, and then the friend is just constantly like, they don't have the strength or the confidence to say, "Hey, you told me two times to do this a certain way, and every time I do it, it fails. So you know what? Moving forward, I got this. I don't need your help. Like not in a rude way, but I don't need your help. I appreciate your offer. I appreciate your willingness to help, but I'm the one that makes the decision at the end of the day. So I'm gonna do what I feel is what I need to do. Now, some people will do certain things and they'll get this feeling, and it's like, I have this weird feeling about this, but they don't realize that if you have a weird feeling about it, that's telling you that you need to think about what you're about to do.
Yeah.
There's many times where I'm in a situation and I'm like, okay, how do I do this? I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm just gonna do it. Sometimes it backfires on me. Sometimes it works for the benefit, right? So that's why I come to the idea of thinking that way because there's times where it has worked,
Yeah.
and when I don't get to where I need to go, then I'm like, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Now I know. Okay, moving forward, we learn. It's not like oh, you gotta hate yourself all the time now, right? But I find that like this, and this is why I always bring it back to decision making, because decision making, a lot of people underestimate how important a decision is. They think that just for that moment, I'm just going to make this decision to get myself out of it. They get themselves out of it, and then they don't realize that that decision has underlying repercussions that's coming at you over and over and over and over, further and further and further down the road, right? So
Have a great day, Trish. Love ya.
have a good day, Trish.
Yeah, have a great weekend too. We'll see you on Monday.
Yeah,
Well,
Trish always leaves when I come on. It's like I'm scaring her or something.
no, she's got a certain deadline. She goes to work every
Yeah.
morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's it.
Gotcha.
That's why she's going out the door every morning, hops on her bike and rides to work. Yeah.
All right. Biker, eh?
She loves to ride her bike. Well, you know what? Personally, I like quality over quantity. I keep my circle very, very small all the
Okay.
time because then
Yeah.
that's less that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to friends, I even talk about this in one of my books. Friends are there when they need you. It's very rare to find friends that are actually there for you when you are in need because it is inconvenient for other people
Yeah.
for you to need other people sometimes.
Yeah.
So I depend on myself solely. I don't depend on any friend to get me any out of any situation. The only thing I can depend on when it comes to that is enjoying quality time.
Yeah.
Like if I need quality time with somebody, well, then I have a very selected few that I will reach out to spend some time with.
Oh yeah,
If
absolutely.
not, I don't. I won't engage. I stay away
Yeah.
because I don't want any unhealthy interactions in my life of any kind.
Yeah.
And if you can't, like, I have a lot of friends that are living in ways that I don't live like that, but not friends. You see, like, I have known people, there's nobody that I'm at conflict with, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Same
I
here.
mean? In my
Yeah.
life, I
I know
really
exactly what you
don't.
mean. Same here.
I can
Yeah.
go back and I like to think that, put it this way, I like to think that the day that I do leave this planet, that I'm remembered in a healthy way. And that when people think about me, they think about jokes that I've given them or a smile that I put on their face or how I've gone out of my way for them. But that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to friends, I keep that circle small. I keep it
Yeah.
very, very small. I'm a very quality over quantity type of person in anything in my life because
Yeah.
I've cut all of my material needs. I don't need fancy anything. I'm simple. But when it comes to conversations and my time spent with people, I want quality and nothing but, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm kind of the same way too. It's like when you have, I find that sometimes it gets really overwhelming when you have way too many friends that you can keep in contact with, right? So it's like I remember one time this actually happened to me where, I was just, I think it was a Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember what day it was, but, I was kind of bored and I said, oh, I'm just going to go on Facebook and see how everybody's doing. So I posted this video and I was just like, hey, how's everybody doing? And I was just like waiting to see if somebody was just going to come in and engage in a conversation. And then one of my friends, James, like I haven't seen him in like forever. And we started talking and then he's like, oh, bring me on video. And I said, okay. So I bring him on video and we start talking. And as we're starting to talk, I see all these other people now. They're all like, hey, how's it going? And I'm just like, there's just so many people. You're like, okay, who do I go to first? It's just, it was pretty overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same token, it makes you feel good inside too because now you know that you're loved. You know that people are actually, when I broke up with my girlfriend there in December and I switched my status, everybody was like, I had a lot of mixed comments. Some people were like, oh, I feel sorry for you, you guys seem so happy. Then you had other people who were like, oh, I kind of had a feeling that this wasn't gonna go, she gave me this vibe, or I'm just like, so it's I appreciate people's input because it kind of brings certain sides that I don't see, because we all see a certain side that whether it be in a relationship, a job, life, whatever, we always see a certain side, but there's always that one corner that you're not looking into that you don't notice until somebody brings it to your attention, right?
Yeah.
So so that's
Yeah,
for
because when
that
we're
sense.
living it, we don't see it.
Exactly. So for that particular reason, I think it's good to have a lot of friends because when you do have a couple of those friends that look into that corner and they give you feedback, it's kind of a general feedback, but then there's all these different aspects and it's kind of interesting because, you know, we're all human. We all have the same composition, but we're just so different in so many million particles. It's unbelievable, you know. It's like certain people will say certain things about you, and you're like, okay, and you think that's the general rule of thumb, and then somebody else will come at you and say, well, you know, I noticed that you do this, and I'm like, how the heck do you know? How come you notice that but nobody else does? And that's what it comes down to, is that there's certain people that have certain angles on you that you need to keep, because you need to know what those angles are so that you're not giving off the wrong impression, or people are misreading you and that sort of thing, which happens more often than not, right? So
Well, I have friends and people that have known me a long time. So it's pretty much the same with you. I've kept friends a long time to say that pool of friends, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and they know me and they've seen me through all kinds of seasons of my life,
yeah,
but they still love me for who I am. So, yeah, but there's on the other hand, yeah, all the acquaintances out there I don't engage with. But people know if they're in my pool because I engage with them. I let them know that they matter. When I tell somebody I'm sending them love, I really am. Like it's not, and I hope people see that. But yeah, I don't get engaged with too many. I post a lot
mm,
of stuff but it's not you know what I mean. How much time you got?
yeah.
Because I know
I
that we
got,
came on late here this morning.
yeah, I got like 10 minutes.
Okay, so why don't you take the floor and send out a message because like I said, I had hopped on before.
Okay.
I just want to remind you before we get off here that yes, I have been muted constantly now on Facebook. I've been threatened by Facebook that my account is going to be closed because I'm speaking too much truth. So I know we spoke about it, but I'm letting everybody else know that's on here now.
Mm-hmm.
So if for some reason my account goes dormant, we all know why. Because Toby speaks too much truth. And it's not appreciated by many, many, many who would like to keep us living in fear. It's as simple as that. So, Wendell, I'll give you the floor to wrap up your couple of minutes there before I wrap it up.
Okay. So yeah, so I think that what we need to do, like, you know, it's always nice to have, you know, people in your corner. You know, it's nice to have people supporting you and that sort of thing. But again, it's all about quality and not quantity, right? So I think that a lot of us are struggling right now with, you know, the trust factor. Who do we trust? You know, who should we keep with us? Who should we, you know, keep an eye out for, kind of thing. If you're doing the right thing and you're going down a positive path, then you really don't need to look anywhere, because you're already creating this magnetic field of positivity. So what's going to happen is you're going to start bringing people towards you, and the people who are going to come towards you are going to be positive people. We, as human beings, sometimes we have a tendency of, you know, looking too much into things. You know, we always have to examine and, you know, make sure that this person is who they say they are and that sort of thing. If you're positive and you're doing the right thing, then there should be no reason for you to have to take that route, because, you know, as human beings, we're very what's the word I'm looking for, we're very self-explanatory. So you can see somebody, and just by looking at them, you can almost tell what their intention is based on how they're asking you the question, how they're behaving, the words they're using, the tone they're using. If they're very quiet or if they're overexcited, you know, there's no in between. So obviously that's something to kind of look out for too. You know, we have to, a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, this is not necessary. I don't need to really look at somebody. They're going to show me their intention. Not all the time people are going to show you their intention. So it's very important that you do look out for these little signs, because, you know, I have a lot of friends that, you know, it's disheartening when you have a friend for 20 years that you put all your confidence in, that you trust with very sensitive information, personal information at times, and then they just turn around and leave you hanging or screw you over or whatever the case may be. So the reason why that happens is because that person has already shown you that they are not to be trusted, or that they're going to get to that point where they're going to screw you over, but you're being nonchalant about it, thinking that, oh, this is not going to happen to me and I know what I'm doing and that sort of thing. So, with that being said, look at people's intentions, look at how they talk to you, look at how they treat you. Like, these are very big signs that'll tell you, you know what, this person is meant to be in my life, or, you know what, this person may not be worthy to be in my life because they're just going to take me down and send me backwards. If you're busting your butt to get yourself to a certain point in life and you have somebody trying to drag you backwards, you need to cut that off, because the more you let that person in your life, the more that person is going to have the power to drag you from where you need to go. And when you start wondering, okay, how come I'm not getting to where I'm getting to, you're not going to realize that that's what the issue is. So it's very important that we choose our friends wisely, smartly. The people who are in your corner that are going to cheer you on, don't second guess that. They're going to cheer you on. The ones who cheer you on once in a while or when it's convenient for them, those are the ones that you need to look out for. So with that being said, just watch who you associate yourself with. Try to stay positive. Try to stay focused. Love and light. It's all about, you matter the most. And that's it. So let's just go get it. Stay positive. Don't let this negative energy or what's going on in the world distract you. Stay focused on your path and keep your positive direction, and nothing but success will come to you. And that's the best I can say. I'm out.
Well, that was great, Wendell. Love and light, my brother. Like
Love and
always,
light.
I wish you well and I wish you a great day. I want you to get
You
the
too.
most out of it, because you do matter. You matter the most in your experience. Just like all of you guys out there, I'm going to address you all. I wish you all a great day. Remember, train your brains. When you see a limit, get creative. When you see an obstacle, grow, evolve. It's a time, it's an opportunity to not stay stuck in what you're living. Okay? Everything in life is for learning. That's why it's an experience. What are we fueled by? An infinite, unconditional love that loves us no matter what. But it wants us to get the most out of our life. And it's always working for us. What's fueling us will never work against you. It is our own being that has to get it right. And you got to work in sync and in alignment with what you are meant to do here. That's individual to you. It's unique to your experience. That's why I encourage you all, take a look at what you're thinking, what you're doing, and what you're saying. It causes a ripple effect. It primarily stems from you. You matter the most. Love yourself unconditionally, no matter what. Why? Because then you are in alignment with what is fueling you. Gives you a creative capacity that, hey, you're tapped into your truest nature. You can make anything manifest in a matter of minutes. Seriously. Set a high vibe. Remember how much you matter in your experience. Seriously. Be loving in everything that you say and you do for yourself primarily.
Yep.
Okay? I appreciate every single one of you that come out here and engage. I appreciate you
Too.
guys. I love you all. Okay? You guys all matter. And every one of your well-being matters. It really does. Why? Because you're living a unique experience with a unique signature. And there's nobody like you on the planet. That's why we got to get it right. And we can get it right together. All right?
Yep.
We will
That's
be
right.
out here again Monday. I wish you guys all an amazing weekend. Touch base and do things that fill your heart.
Yep.
Do things that bring you life and don't take away from it. Okay? Little changes produce great results. I encourage you guys to get it right this weekend. Okay? I love you all. Okay? Have a great day.
Have
Wendell,
a
love
great
and light,
weekend.
my brother.
Love and light, my sister.
All right. Have a great weekend. And
You
if you want to
too.
touch base this weekend about anything for creating events, I'm
Yep.
super down. All right. Just reach
Okay.
out. Check my
Yep.
messages.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
will.
Have
All
a
right.
great day. Love and light,
You too.
everybody.
Love and
Peace.
light.